Hi, welcome back to Joan Landino Says. My office manager.
Hi, Michael.
Michael what?
Frage.
And Timmy.
Tim Faherty.
And your educational background?
Oh, majored in communication with a concentration in interpersonal and relational.
Perfect. Today's episode is on food really does matter. If you get a chance to watch Forks Over Knives, you'll realize I'm really not wrong. Forks over knives. Anyway, to start off with, the most boring part is that what we eat matters to our mood. So it is proven in certain cases that if you go more towards a vegetarian and vegan diet, your mood improves, you have less anxiety and less stress.
Okay.
Yeah. So then, not to be boring, what is a drug?
You tell me.
Food is a drug.
Okay.
I know one guy said you're really stretching it, Joan, but whatever you put in your body that causes any enzymatic change, enzymes are our workhorses in our body.
Okay.
The DNA is the instruction manual for enzymes. And so if you put food in your body or a drug, it causes enzyme changes. So food really is a drug. So it can improve our mood. Did you know there were 5 or 6 foods that have several milligrams of serotonin?
No, tell me about them.
Yeah. Because I hear you always saying that.
They're very multicultural too.
Oh, wow.
Avocado.
Ooh,
Has high, yeah.
avocado.
And now that food recently is very popular amongst people.
Yeah, like
They
it's at
put-
Subway.
It's at
That's
Subway. They're putting it on sides. I ate avocado last night
Well, I'm happy about that. I'm happy to hear that.
with beef.
I'm not happy to hear that. And, bananas, walnuts, plums, pineapples, and eggplant.
Oh,
no,
I just had
serotonin is-
eggplant last night.
Several
that?
milligrams of serotonin. Well,
wonder how some people-
serotonin is the active, you know, an SSRI, I'm sorry, a selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor. Those are the antidepressants. They keep serotonin in your brain.
So serotonin is an antidepressant,
Yeah,
essentially.
essentially.
So if we eat foods that are high in serotonin, like the ones you just mentioned, avocado, banana, that could help our mood
Yeah.
overall and our lifestyle.
Yes, and if you're on an antidepressant, when people get off an antidepressant, it's called a withdrawal syndrome, and they feel awful. They can't tolerate it, and they get very angry that they've ever even been on an antidepressant. Those 5 foods with lots of water actually helps them wean off of an antidepressant.
So that could combat your moods when you're coming off an antidepressant.
Yeah.
So that could help make things a little more maintainable for you.
Yes.
Okay, that's good.
All right, and then basically after that, I wanted to explain that I am a diehard vegan, and I am a guardian member of the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine, who just came out with a best-selling book, The 21-Day Vegan Kickstart, which is a little too hard for me when I looked at it, but for me, it's very easy to be a vegetarian because because I don't really like to follow recipes. But I just really love food, so I just put it all together.
So you like to go at the beat of your own drum.
Exactly.
Okay.
It's a Leo thing.
So of course. So tell us about being a vegan. I mean, did you start as a vegetarian, and you led up to being a vegan? When was the last time that you, for example, had red meat?
Oh, probably over 20 years.
Okay.
But when I
long time
first
ago.
started, somebody gave me a gift, and it was by John Robbins, and the book was A Diet for a New America. And it wasn't a diet, it was a change of lifestyle. And John Robbins is the heir of Baskin and Robbins, and he grew up on a dairy farm. And in '89, when I was reading that, I still didn't become a vegetarian. I just slowly started thinking about it. Then I would give one thing up at a time, then another, and then I started losing my taste for things. Oh, I made myself lactose intolerant by not having dairy.
So you cut dairy out of your diet, and thus that made you lactose intolerant? So now if you were to have dairy, you would have a bad reaction to it?
Yeah, I'd cramp up. Like,
You would?
there's a lot of countries that are lactose intolerant. For example, the Philippines, I mean, they were helping us during World War II, and apparently Americans dropped powdered milk off to the Philippines so that they could have that. And they weren't making fun of them, but the American troops were laughing because they saw the Filipinos washing their floors with the powdered milk and water. Lactic acid could help clean. But it wasn't that they were ignorant, it was they're lactose intolerant. We were ignorant.
Yes.
Yes.
Definitely.
So besides the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine, who is promoting a plant-based diet, helping children have vegan alternatives in schools, they also help us humanize medical education because they have closed most dog labs in the United States for the universities.
Dog labs.
Oh, yeah.
Like testing the meds on dogs?
Yeah, dogs and monkeys, and the Grade 8 Protection Act as well. One doctor said that he didn't understand how he could go home to 3 or 4 dogs, love them, and yet every day go to work and put tubes down dogs, usually beagles.
Well, of course. Oh, that's terrible.
And then he eventually became a member and doesn't do that.
Well, good.
Yeah.
So now let's back up for a second and tell me about what ultimately made you decide to become a vegetarian, and then what led you up to being a vegan. And how hard was that transition?
Oh, good questions, Timmy. Ultimately, John Robbins' book made me become, made me realize the cruelty in it. And even though I recognized the cruelty in it, I still didn't give everything up. Eventually,
It's hard for people to give it up.
At times, and then people cheat. Eventually, when I met Dr. Neil Barnard and joined PCRM, that's when I became vegan, because the information is out there, and I just...
What was that span of time from vegetarian to vegan?
I have only been a vegan for about 5 years.
I was going to say recently, to my knowledge.
Yeah.
Okay.
I had given everything up except for good cheeses. Vegans can make all kinds of products that are delicious and healthy, not only soy, ancient grains, quinoa, millet, and spelt, you know, really good stuff. They can't make a good cheese.
Oh, the vegan regat with the...
Yeah, but that's a recipe and you have to make it. I'm a Leo.
Oh, and you mean...
You can make it for me, I'll eat it.
Okay. Because that is the only thing that would make me go from a vegetarian to vegan, would be if all of the cheeses tasted like...
You've had the vegan regat. I don't even think you know.
We lie to people on holidays.
They do lie. They do like to trick me into eating vegan. Sometimes they're successful.
Yeah.
Now, do you notice that you feel better overall, physically, mentally, and whatnot?
I not only feel better, I shape-shifted.
Shape-shift. Now define what you mean by that.
She did.
I know.
It was bad.
I didn't want to lose weight, but I lost weight when I became a vegetarian. I quickly lost 10 pounds, but then you eventually gain it back. When I became vegan, I lost another 10 pounds, which was a bit much, so I had to make sure I ate enough. But what I mean by shape-shifting is my arms used to be this thin, and my thighs used to be like this.
Okay.
Becoming vegan, I'm actually proportioned.
Okay.
It's bizarre. I never knew that would happen. And I'm still vegan because of animal rights.
Okay. Do you miss anything?
I think I miss what I believe an expensive cheddar cheese used to taste like. That's the only thing I sometimes
So cheese
miss.
is the biggest thing. It's interesting. That's interesting.
Yeah, because I wouldn't know if someone asked me. I eat dairy and cheese and stuff, but if someone asked me the one thing I crave or miss, it would just be soy. No, it would be a soy-based meat product now, because I don't even remember what real meat tastes like. You don't miss it. And I'm slowly getting my friends to eat like that too, and they prefer it.
There's another video, I think it's, There's Nothing Manly About Eating Meat. I think you can find that on YouTube, and it's a Marine that talks about how he was in Vietnam. And I really like people to hear this, because I don't think people realize that, well, they do. They might say, oh, people who eat dogs and cats, they're savages. Well, every country chooses which animal is domestic versus which animal is agricultural. So the Marine talks about, in his video, about how he connected when he saw a dog, several dogs crammed in a wire cage. He still went to the restaurant. He saw the dog cut up and made into steaks. He still came home, was not vegetarian. It took him several years, like me, to realize what we were doing. So that I thought was important too. So we can't criticize other countries for eating the domestic animals that we love.
Okay.
Because we eat pigs and cows.
Enough.
Yes, fair enough.
That's what we do.
Fair
And
enough.
we were just talking about how pigs are smarter than what?
Dogs.
Dogs. And people eat that in this country, so.
And chicken has a natural carcinogen in it. If you cook it at a high temperature, the carcinogen comes out, and through condensation goes back in, and it's even more powerful.
What is carcinogen? What is it again? Say that again.
Carcinogen.
Carcinogen. Okay.
Yeah,
carcinogen.
Cancer.
Okay.
And then also, not to mention the hormones and the antibiotics that they pump them all up. Sometimes chickens are only 3 months old when you're eating them, but yet it's plumped. The other thing was, that's another reason I talked to the guys about, really, your testosterone's normal, but what did you just tell me? You eat a lot of chicken, so be careful of what you eat.
So now in a previous video we discussed testosterone deficiency. So now you're saying that chicken, too much chicken, can lower your testosterone levels?
Increase your estrogen levels, not lower.
Not lower your testosterone, but increase your estrogen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why are girls going through puberty early? Why are boys getting man boobs?
Man boobs.
Yep.
Well, they're saying a lot of things. They're saying water, they're saying the hormones that they put into meat, to milk,
Yep.
etc.
Like food's not food anymore, right?
Well, it's injected with so many other things that it didn't used to be. You know, you used to be able to go on your farm, you used to be able to, you know, slaughter your own animals and then eat it yourself.
Right, like my parents. And they're in great health. They're 82.
And my grandmother, who's 100.
Wow.
So go figure. Yep. She's doing good.
Too.
Yep. Oh, yep.
Well,
Now.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, now my question is, though, and we were talking about this before. What do you think that? Do you find yourself or people who are in this vegan lifestyle that are deficient in anything? Because I mean, it is great. You can't deny that it's great because you are getting a lot of. It does create a better lifestyle mentality and whatnot. But what are you lacking? You know, have you noticed? You know, is it attributed to loss in muscle mass? You know, is it attributed to any other things that you've noticed in your professional experience?
No, actually, I'm healthier. And I used to be anemic when I ate meat, and I'll tell you that when you eat meat, meat is acidic. And what neutralizes the acid is phosphorus. Where is phosphorus found? In our bones. Phosphorus comes out of our bones to neutralize the acid, but phosphorus has a twin that follows it everywhere, which is calcium. And that's why when you eat milk, drink milk, and eat meat, and you think for healthy bones and teeth, that's actually a lie. It's a big scam.
Because of the calcium, they say.
Phosphorus has to come out, neutralize, and the calcium follows phosphorus.
So would you recommend a calcium supplement as opposed to milk? Or what about almond milk?
I love
almond milk.
I mean, I drink
Watch
that as well.
forks over knives. Don't drink milk. If you're still going to eat meat, if you're still going to eat animals, don't drink milk. Milk was meant for calves, not you.
We're the only species that drinks another species' milk.
Yeah.
Yes, I've heard that.
Yeah, and did you hear in
Did you hear it enough?
But wait, and did you hear in England they're selling breast milk ice cream
Well,
for
that's
like $20?
that's disgusting.
Why? Oh, I think it is, but why?
But you're drinking a cow's milk, though.
From an udder.
But now again, to go back, I mean, it's a double-edged sword because you know you have somebody again to go back to my grandmother who's now 100, who used to wake up in the morning in Ireland and go and milk the cow and then just drink it straight.
Right.
You know, and that's before it goes through whatever it goes through in order to get it to the milk that we know, pasteurization. Thank you.
And
in order for us to drink it. So I mean, different strokes for different folks. You know, so
But
it's a very interesting perspective and a very interesting lifestyle.
Luckily now, I became a vegetarian thanks to my aunt, Joan, obviously. But when I became a vegetarian when I was in 12. And so from 12 to now, I have so many more options. I just can't wait until I can go anywhere and there be something for a vegetarian to eat. Because sometimes I'll go somewhere and I'm just like, oh, I have to have mashed potatoes because there's nothing.
Well, yeah, you find it frustrating at times because we'll go to an event or we'll go to a wedding and they won't have an option for you.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, is unfortunate. I mean, that's a little unfair.
School, like I'm glad that PCRM is trying to get vegetarian options in school because in high school, I used to have to like fight the lunch ladies for a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
And of course, that's quite the healthy alternative then to a steak.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, which is a very good point, though. I mean, they don't have a lot of options out there for other people who are trying to eat healthy.
No,
and they do push a lot of cheap, unhealthy foods into our faces at all times.
And
whether it be in high schools, middle schools, or in the workplace. You know, even at my work, the cafeteria did a whole revamping and a whole different catering system in order to get better food in there and give other options because it was very unhealthy.
And I believe it was in here, but I don't see it. Did you know that an egg has more cholesterol than a Big Mac?
An egg?
Yeah.
But now they encourage the eating of eggs.
Of course they do. Of course they do. Of course they do.
Now, what's wrong with an egg?
I'm a hypocrite and I love eggs.
That's fine. I'm not hard on anybody. Eat whatever you want, but I know that food really matters. And just to end this quickly, not only PCRM, I'm also a member of Farm Sanctuary, because back in 2000 there were no laws to protect agricultural animals like there are laws to protect domestic animals. Farm Sanctuary has helped with that, and there are some laws to actually protect the cruelty of an agricultural animal and what they go through. So thank you so much for joining me once again, Timmy and Michael, and thanks for joining in, and I will see you next time. Check out Joan Landino Says for any other questions.